Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, text 36. Yatra kva ata vatsyami sarva bhomatva agyaya lakshayi tatra tatra api tvamataishu sarasanam. Yatra kvanavata vatsyami sarvabhaumatva agyaya lakshaye tatra tatrapi tvamataishu sarasanam. Kalirvacha yatra kvavata vatsyami sarvabhaumatva agyaya lakshaye tatra tatrapi tvamataishu sarasanam. Kaliruvacha yatra kvanata vatsyami sarvabhauma tavagyaya lakshaye tatra tatrapi tvamatishu sarasanam. Kaliruvacha. The personality of Kali said, Yatra, anywhere. Kva, and everywhere. Va, either. Ata, thereof. Vatsami, I shall reside. Sarvabhauma, all the Lord or Emperor of the earth. Tavo, your. Agyaya, by the order. Lakshaye, I see. Tatra, there and there. Api, also. Tvam, your majesty. Ata, taken over. Ishu, arrow. Sarashanam, blaze on the bow. Translation. O your majesty, I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, but there and there I shall have to see you with bow and arrows, as I can see. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Kali could see that Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of all lands all over the world, and as such, anywhere he might have lived, he would have to meet with the same mood of the king. The personality of Kali was meant for mischief, and Maharaj Parikshit was meant for subduing all kinds of mischief mongers, especially the personality of Kali. It was better, therefore, for the personality of Kali to have become killed by the king then and there, instead of being killed anywhere else. He was, after all, a surrendered soul before the king, and it was with the king to do the needful. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Yana Jana Shalakayama Chakshunan Meritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai. So, Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the whole world. 5,000 years ago, the Vedic culture was all around the world, everywhere, every continent, every country. People were worshipping Krishna. They were following Vedic injunctions. Or they were not. Aboriginals also. Uncivilized. Just like now, there are also many tribes in the world. The varieties of species in this world And the Shastra says that there are 400,000 varieties of humans only. But generally speaking, because there was Maharaj Parikshit, a powerful king, Raja Rishi, who was ruling over the planet, the whole world was full of auspiciousness and people were guided properly. There were no religions. Nowadays there's so many religions. So what is the use of this? I have my religion, you have your religion, and we fight over some insignificant ritualistic differences. So that wasn't there. Imagine, there were no religions. Yes. Nowadays the word religion is understood as faith. Sentimental faith. I have faith. I believe. I believe. So that wasn't there. No belief. Foolish belief. Only science. The Veda means science or knowledge. So people were worshipping God, but scientifically, not sentimentally. And Maharaj Parikshit was in charge. So, of course, the times in this world, they go through changes also, just like your body is going through the various changes from childhood to youth to old age. The body is changing. Similarly, the times are changing. In the beginning, there is the Satya Yuga, very pious age. People are living very nicely. All Paramahamsas, all liberated souls. There's such opulence, so much abundance of natural products. The fruits are growing wildly. There is no need to work. Then later on, a vice is introduced, a little impurity. So then the Varnashram system must be introduced in Treta Yuga. And then more vice is introduced. 50% of population becomes vicious. That is called Dwapara Yuga. That's where Krishna appears. Krishna comes during the Dwapara Yuga on the junction, just like here. This is the junction between the two yugas, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. And this final age, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, 75% of people are vicious. Nonsense. It becomes very, very difficult to attain perfection in this age of Kali, because the society is not conducted scientifically. It is pretty much in a chaotic condition. Everyone becomes an authority. Everyone becomes a guru without following the disciplic succession, following the Shastra. All self-appointed, self-proclaimed authorities. Everyone wants to guide. Nobody knows how to guide. And then naturally, because there are so many so-called gurus and swamis and yogis, there is quarrel, there's competition. See, they all say the truth is one. So if the truth is one, why are you fighting so much, arguing, competing? So this age began with this conflict between Maharaj Parikshit and the personality of Kali. Personality of Kali is reigning over the Kali Yuga. Just like Maharaj Parikshit, it is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada mentions it. He was meant for subduing all kinds of mischief mongers. And the personality of Kali, the exact opposite, creating mischief. There are some people, they only create mischief, nothing good they can contribute, but simply creating mischief. No responsibility, no higher vision, universal vision. Simply prayas. Tasmat guru prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. This should be the aim of human life, to surrender to the bona fide spiritual master and inquire from him about the ultimate purpose of life, Shreyas. What is the ultimate goal? We have short-term goals. Oh, I have to make peace with my children. Oh, I have to bury my husband. Oh, I have to call the tax return. I have to find a new job. These are short-term problems, short-term goals. Prayas. If we become so much absorbed in these short-term problems and we miss the Shreyas, the ultimate, what is the use of living? What is the use of living? When you die, Mrityu sarva haras chaham. Krishna says, I take everything in the form of death. I appeared to you, rascal. You don't want to surrender to me. You don't want to worship me. You don't want to chant my name. I still love you. And I come and I see you. But that form you don't want to see. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. Krishna comes as death. No matter how atheistic you are, and no matter how much you screaming, I will not surrender, I will not surrender. Why should I surrender? Who is this God? You'll be forced to surrender. Is there anyone who can say, oh, I will not die? Why should I die? I'm independent. Why should I submit to death? There is no such a person. Everyone forcibly must die. So, Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. You should inquire about the absolute, not just the prayas, the ultimate. The animals are also concerned with the prayas, immediate gratification. Where is food? Where is food? Where is food? And barking when the food is not supplied. So if you like this, then you're not better than the animal. There is no need of spiritual instruction. Many times people come and they inquire about animalistic activities. Oh, can you have sex in Krishna consciousness? Can you smoke ganja? Can you do homosex? Can you do this? What is the use of these questions? Nonsense questions. Yes, we welcome questions. Come and inquire. It's not a dogma. But if you ask these silly questions, how can I kill myself by committing sinful activities? How can we answer that question? How can we answer that? We see that you're killing yourself. So we cannot support that. And the whole civilization is in a state of killing others and killing oneself. So a devotee, he cannot tolerate this. He must go out and preach Krishna consciousness. Because a devotee is full of compassion. Unless he is compassionate, what kind of a devotee he is? If you love Krishna, you will love all his parts and parcels. That is natural. That mentality must be awakened. If it is not awakened, then you cannot make further advancement in Krishna consciousness. It becomes just like a business exchange. I do my puja, I do my arati or whatever. I go to the temple, I give a little donation. And that's it. Almost no relationship. Actually, no relationship. Because the relationship with God is not that God becomes your servant. That is not the relationship. Our eternal relationship, Lord Chaitanya defines, Jivira Swarupa Aya Krishna Das. That is your Swarupa. That is your original form. Your original occupation. eternally serving Krishna. Eternally means constantly. Constantly serving Krishna. Everything you do it for Krishna. Don't do half. I do for Krishna a little bit, but I also have to do for myself. Well, what is the use of for myself? Why are you wasting your time like this? Give everything to Krishna. Sarva dharma parityajya mam ekam sharanam brajam. He says, mam ekam, only unto me surrender. Lord Jesus, he says, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. That is not service. Just like in a relationship. Imagine you're married and your wife says, oh, I love you, but I also love our neighbor. I go and I have sex life with him. Is that very nice? What is the love? She has no love. She's a prostitute. Right? She's a prostitute. So don't be a prostitute. Be a faithful servant of Krishna. This is how it begins. The Krishna consciousness begins with Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Faith means chastity. You cannot go elsewhere. Srila Prabhupada says, unless you offer all your food to Krishna, you cannot be called a devotee. You cannot go and eat anything, any damn nonsense. That is prostitution of the tongue. This is how the practice begins. If you have not even begun this point, don't make a show. I'm a devotee, I'm a Vaishnav. The title Vaishnav is not so cheap. It must be deserved. There is a clear delineation, clear definition who is a Vaishnava. So one of these qualities is compassion. And Maharaj Parikshit, although he was governing the whole world, and although he was a very powerful king, he had this quality of compassion as well. So when personality of Kali, when he begged for forgiveness, because he was a coward, although he was wearing king's dress, he was not manifesting the qualities of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya will never surrender. That was, Prabhupada was explaining that actually the independence of India was not won by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was simply doing propaganda, but the British, they were not faced by Mahatma Gandhi. Only when Mr. Surendranath Bose, I think that was his name, only when he organized the army, because the British, they were occupying India and they were using the Indian soldiers. So when Surendranath, when he organized the army to rebel against the British, that's where the British decided, okay, we have to go now. Now we're lost. Now it's hopeless. So they called him, in the British Parliament, they called him Surrender Not. Surendranath, surrender not. Prabhupada explains this. You have to be like that. You cannot compromise with nonsense. So Maharaj Parikshit, he was very compassionate, and when he surrendered, he spared him. He spared him. He was compassionate. That is another quality of a Kshatriya. When the opponent, when he surrenders, you cannot kill. Prabhupada says here, this is the principle of religion. Religion doesn't mean simply go to church and pray, do some prayer. Religion is all pervading. So we call it a dharma, right? Religion is dharma. So this is the Kshatriya dharma. The rules and regulations that govern the life of a Kshatriya or a politician also. That is also dharma. That is also religion. Religion means the laws given by God. If you follow these laws, then all the social intercourse, everything becomes very smooth. Everything runs very nicely. And if you interfere, glanir bhavati bharata, if there is a discrepancy in the performance of religious duties, just like now, this Varnashram system has been completely perverted. starting from India. People claim to be belonging to a Brahmana family just because their father is a Brahmin. There's no Garbhodana Samskara. There's no puja. They don't do anything Brahminical. Simply based on bodily designation, they designate, oh, I'm a Brahmana, Brahmin family. Just recently, I saw someone was commenting on our page that, oh, you're not from the proper Vaishnava family. Because we're born in Western countries, these people, they consider that, oh, they're not actually Vaishnavas. They cannot be Vaishnavas because you have to be born. So that is their discrimination. From which genital hole you have come. They're very concerned with the genitals. So low class. So Vaishnava is not a question of birth. Vaishnava is a question of qualities. Qualities and work. Chaturbanyam maya system gunakarama vibhagashaha. So that we see that Kali was dressed by this designation of a Kshatriya. But when Maharaj Parikshit came and threatened him, he immediately surrendered. So his true nature was exhibited. He was not ready to fight. A Kshatriya, he takes great pleasure to be challenged to fight. And he fights with great vigor and chivalry. That is a real Kshatriya. So Maharaj Parikshit, he spared him. Oh, he wants to surrender? Okay, he spared him. And then he sent him to a place where simple activities are being committed. Illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication. Go there. Take shelter there. Then the personality of Kali realized that, oh, there is no such a thing. There is no such a place in your whole kingdom. Imagine. The kingdom was spread all over the world. And yet there was no place where illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication was taking place. How advanced civilization it must have been. And nowadays with all these iPhones and my phones and shmy phones, how many countries are in the world fighting with one another? At least, 200 different states in the world, on the planet, 200, 300 different countries. Prabhupada mentioned it many times. The United Nations, the office in New York, they want to unite nations, let's be united. But the flags are simply increasing. Another country is created, another one. Just like Putin, right? He created 2 countries there in Ukraine. Yeah. He declared independence for these Russian regions of Ukraine. So, but this will continue because there's no unity, there's no Krishna consciousness. As I said, everyone is following the personality of Kali. Everyone has accepted personality of Kali as their faithful, as a faithful disciple of their spiritual master. Manda sumanna matayo. Very lazy. People are very lazy. They have no determination to practice any sadhana. So, at this point, the movement of Lord Chaitanya is the only way, the only remedy. Nothing else will work. And if we divert to other things, karma kand, jnana kand, this kand, that kand, this guru, that swami, philanthropy, milanthropy, this will simply create disturbance. It is very simple. Look at Srila Prabhupada. How did he start the movement? Simply chanting Hare Krishna in a Tompkins Square Park. By this chanting. That's how he started. And that's how it was going on. And that's how it should still go on. Make the Sankirtan, make this chanting the center of all Krishna-conscious activities. Because without the chanting, your deity worship cannot function. Your study of the Shastra cannot be assimilated. You cannot follow the 4 regulative principles without the blessings of the Harinam Prabhu. And there will simply be arguing and quarreling even amongst devotees. Prabhupada said this. If you do not chant, there will be quarreling amongst devotees. So you can see, if the devotees are quarreling, that means that the chanting is not done, or it is not done properly. So this is the remedy for this horrible situation of Kali Yuga, this Harinam Sankirtan. So those who are impeding, government or other people, those who are impeding with the Harinam, they're the greatest rascals, the greatest sinners. They're the most dangerous elements in a society because they're spoiling it for everyone. Of course, we must enlighten them. Only a foolish person can act as a demon because he's acting against his own interest. Only a foolish person will be destroying himself and others. That is lack of knowledge. It's like you have some good facility and you destroy it. Is that intelligence? That is the most exhibition of ignorance. So the personality of Kali in this way can be subjugated if we invest our time in spreading this Sankirtan movement. That is the only function of this movement, to somehow or other make people chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we should chant ourselves and we should induce others to chant also. See, if they read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're distributing these books. If they read the books, they will be chanting. Just like I was also convinced by reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. When I read it, I became convinced to take up this process of chanting seriously, according to my level of surrender. Of course, we can take it more seriously, and we can take it most seriously, and at that point we achieve the highest perfection of life, Krishna Prema. We go back home, back to Godhead. But we must understand, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, eva kevalam, kalo nasti, eva nasti, eva nasti, eva gati ranyata. There is no other way. Brihanarade Purana. You must accept what the Shastra says. You cannot say, oh, the Shastra said, but. There is no but. But you kick out. You must kick out this but. You cannot object to the Shastra. You cannot object to the Guru. You cannot object to Krishna. There's no but. Just like Arjuna, he said, oh, I accept everything you say, my Lord, in total. I don't pick and choose. I accept the whole thing, whole package, wholesale, everything. So the Shastra says so, we must follow. We should organize nice chanting, as many people as possible. Go out in the streets, chant, chant, chant. This is not insignificant. This chanting is very, very powerful. It affects the people very much, purifies their hearts. So try in your own capacity, try to organize some chanting in your particular city. If nobody wants to come, you go alone. Look at Srila Prabhupada. Yad yadacharati shrestas. Whatever great man performs, whatever activities he performs, the rest of the society, they follow. So if you do like that, immediately you are a great man. You're the best man. If you're chanting Hare Krishna. People might not understand, might not understand. That is besides the point. If you're determined, Krishna will send you assistance. Simply do it. Have shraddha, have this faith. Don't be diverted by rascal so-called gurus who are preaching nonsense. If the guru doesn't preach Sankirtan, if he's not encouraging people to chant Hare Krishna, he's not a guru. He's a rascal. He's a rascal. Yes, people will not like to chant. They will think, oh, it's sectarian. Why should I chant Krishna? I am my own God. I am myself God. They will be like that. What can be done? But we're not concerned. As there are people who are nonsense, there are also people who are sense. 25%. Don't forget, we're still pious. Srila Prabhupada says that 5% of the population, if they become devotees, the whole world will change. 5%. It is so potent. Just like a poison. If you take a small droplet of poison, you can die. So we also have Krishna poison. It's so powerful. It will poison all nonsense ideas. Sometimes the poison is used as a medicine. In small dosages, if you take poison, you can revive your heartbeat and things like that. So definitely, take the Krishna medicine. Otherwise, what else can we do? There is no such a king as Maharaj Parikshit. Everything topsy-turvy, everyone a rascal. Everyone rascal. Dushkutina mudha prapadyante naradama. Maya pratagyana asurim bhavemashutam. If he doesn't surrender to Krishna, if he's not a devotee, rest assured he is a rascal. Rest assured. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it that he's a rascal. Krishna says it. I do not say it. Prabhupada doesn't say it. Krishna says. If you don't believe what I say, that's okay. If you don't believe what Prabhupada says, what can be done? But Krishna you must accept. You cannot argue with Krishna. Because Krishna has created this whole material world. So he knows. If he's not surrendered to Krishna, he's a rascal. One of these 4 categories. Dushkutina, Mudha, Naradama, Asura. Prabhupada says all the nice names Krishna gives. All the so-called nice names. So don't doubt it. This is our criterion. We don't care for any damn nonsense. Are you a devotee? No, rascal. Are you a guru? Yes. Do you preach Sankirtan movement? Are you encouraging people to chant Hare Krishna? No. Get out. Get out. We don't care for you. We don't even pass urine on your face. We don't care. Not interested. We follow Srila Prabhupada. You can see Srila Prabhupada always emphasizing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Always emphasizing surrender. Surrender to Krishna. He is not concerned whether people like it or not. Just like a doctor. If you come to a doctor, you're diseased, he gives you medicine, you take it, you become healthy. If you want to negotiate, oh, I don't want this medicine, I want this medicine, doctor will kick you out. What do you want? I'm the doctor, you're not a doctor. If you're a doctor yourself, heal yourself on your own. Why are you coming to me? This is Krishna consciousness. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
About this chanting of the name. How
Yes.
can we inspire people to chant more? Because today it seems that everyone is so preoccupied in their work and their school and their activities.
Just chant. Very simple. You can induce people to chant by chanting. Just chant. You cannot do anything. You are insignificant, tiny. But if you chant the holy name will act. The holy name will attract. Jayananda Prabhu said, simply have faith in the holy name. Simply have faith in the holy name. Have faith in the holy name. Like that. We don't have faith. We think so many other things are important. Chanting is not so important. It is the most important. As I said, when they read the books of Srila Prabhupada, when they come in the association of a bona fide spiritual master, then he is able to awaken them to the chanting process. So somehow or other, tax your brain how to induce people to read, to take association of Srila Prabhupada. So it can be done in various ways. You can distribute a book, or you can distribute a book by preaching what you have read in that book. That is also book distribution. Right? We don't distribute the paper and the ink. We distribute the message that is in the book. So if you remember, the message and you speak as it is, then you're also doing book distribution. And then Srila Prabhupada has that. He's empowered to do that, to convince people to chant, to engage in this. That's why he's the initiating spiritual master. Initiates means he begins. He induces you to begin the process of chanting. That is why he is you are not the initiator. He is the initiator. You cannot do anything. Your chanting is not so powerful because so many offenses, so many doubts we have. Maybe not you, but myself. So I cannot induce people. But Srila Prabhupada can do it. That's why we should connect people with Srila Prabhupada, not some damn rascal. What is the use of connecting people with some pretender? What is it? Is there any use in that?
No,
Quite the opposite. Simply creates more confusion. People are already confused and you adding more confusion. Why are you doing that? Stop it. Yes. So any other question? All right. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Hari Hari Namo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Samani Namana Namaste Saraswati Puramani Vracharina Nirvishesha Shunari Vachatade Sataride.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.